Hello people of YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I'm just going to make this little video before I do anything else today. As you may recall, this is E3 happens I think on, is it Tuesday or something? But I was going to say EA Sports, but Electronic Arts had their sort of preview press conference announcement. And I had a couple of games, kind of exciting games, but lack of a PGA Tour game didn't get announced. So it probably looks as if this potentially could be the end of the PGA Tour series, which is really disappointing. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the PGA Tour series. I have been since the very first game, and as I said before, I actually own a working copy of PGA Tour. It's actually 1991. It says on the cassette, the actual what do you call those, cartridge. And I've actually got a working Mega Drive as well, so I've got the ability to play the very first PGA Tour game as it is, not on a computer, with one of those kind of ported type affairs. It's the actual proper Mega Drive, a proper working PGA Tour game. And I played that game from the very start, and it basically, each title that came out, PGA 2, then PGA Tour 3, then there's the European Tour, and it got incrementally better every single launch. It got better and better and better. And technically it has got better over the years. Every title's brought out a new sort of format, if you like, or a better graphics, better play. And the last game, obviously, is the game that's on my screen there, Rory McIlroy PGA Tour, or as I like to call it, PGA Tour 15, because I don't really like the association with a professional. The game itself, I think, doesn't need it. So, why did it fail? Why did Rory McIlroy PGA Tour fail? And it's probably not an easy one to answer. There's a lot of different theories and scenarios. I've not really looked into it. It's really just what's in my head and what I've played. As I've said before, I think that PGA Tour 15, or Rory McIlroy PGA Tour, was the kind of core basis of the game was good. The graphics, I thought the graphics and the courses just looked phenomenal. I think the kind of ball physics were pretty decent. The way it played was decent. The way you set up a shot was decent. Putting, loft, de-loft, fade, draw. Those elements were good. So the real inner core game was there. They had the basics, potential of a really fantastic golf game. Where it failed was everything else outside of that. They kind of did what you might even call the kind of hard work, getting the feel of the game done, but really the rest of it was just poor. There wasn't enough courses at start, but my theory is that, well, one of my theories is that they were going to release a lot of DLC for this game, because this game had a shelf life of 2 years and possibly even longer. But DLC course downloadable courses was probably going to be its key success. So that's why they made it a bit skimpy on courses at the beginning. They gave you enough to play the game, but really I think it was all about DLC. Now DLC did happen, but probably in the wrong way. Now, other parts of the game that failed were there was no customization, game face wasn't in, and really customizing your golfer facially was, it wasn't really there, to be honest. And the online side of it, I don't really play much online, especially with PGA Tour. I used to back a couple of Tiger Woods, maybe, I don't know, 10 and 11 or 12 or something. I used to play a lot of 3-hole challenges, which were quick, and there wasn't a lot of scope where to play against somebody you actually had a good chance of beating them or tying, because there's only 3 holes in it. There wasn't a lot of, to play like 3 perfect holes of golf is easier than trying to play 18. So I played a lot of that, but of late I've not played a lot online. Rory McIlroy PGA Tour online was actually not bad. I think it was a nine holes you played, and I could actually compete against a lot of people, but a lot of people in this game do play perfect golf, which I always find really, I don't know how they do it, to be honest. But the online side of it was okay. It wasn't great and it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't a part of the game that I really sort of bothered with too much. There were other elements in the game, but basically why I buy PGA Tour is for the tour mode. Now the tour mode, I think it lasts over 15 seasons. I'm actually at season 5 at the moment. I've been playing it. The tour mode, well, let's be basically honest, it was a failure. It was a big failure. There was nothing really. They did have this fancy menu system. In fact, I'm actually going to open the game and get it open. They really just. It was the way they laid it out. Okay, that you've got like a kind of, how can you call it, a record of your wins and stuff. But the way they did it was just wasn't good. They don't even have a calendar of tours coming up. The only reason I know what tours coming up is because I've actually went down and wrote down all the tournaments. Because it changed with the updates that came. Sports. It's in the game. But there's no tour, so you can't sit and go, right, the US Open's coming up in the next five tournaments. You can't even do that. So that was a big failure. The tour mode itself was just skimpy. It just didn't really have. It just didn't have the depth that you really should have with a game. If I go to my pro career mode, let's go here. Match in the middle of a tournament, the California Classic. I mean, the equipment side of it was okay, was reasonable. Quite a number of clubs. I mean, that side of it was okay. The outfits are okay. The attribute bonuses is okay. But I mean, your end of the golf is just rubbish. Career progress. I mean, I've maxed my level. I mean, all you've got, stats are okay. I think the way they did the menu system's a bit annoying. I mean, you really don't have much. There's not really much there. And then your highlights is, the way they've got this scrolling thing is kind of annoying. I mean, it's good you can go back over this and sort of read. But I mean, I'm still scrolling here, and it's just, I mean, there's the Open, which I won for the. In fact, that's it there. There's my 10th major. I mean, it's quite good you can get this stuff, but I mean, the game itself, there's just not a lot in the tour mode, and it's just really poor. So it failed on that aspect. And if the tour mode, I mean, could they really update the tour mode? I don't know if they can do that with a patch update or updates in general. So for me that was a big failure in the game. I played the tour and I actually made different scenarios and injury systems, and I tried to kind of spice up the game, and even contacted EA Sports, of which nobody replied back to me, which is not. It doesn't surprise me. With EA Sports, they don't really respond to anybody. There's people reaching out in the game, and trying to make basically just trying to make the game a little bit better by doing various things. I mean, I came up with a lot of ideas, just to kind of spice it up. But EA Sports are just not interested in really sort of reaching out to the actual real players of this game. Why? So another reason why it failed. Probably, I think the biggest reason, and I don't know if there's anything else behind this. Another scenario potentially for me is Tiger Woods PGA Tour 14 was the last Tiger Woods game. Now the contract ran out, and they basically walked away from Tiger Woods. And if you look at Tiger Woods now, it's probably apparent why, because they probably sort of visioned that his career was going to just collapse. I wouldn't say fail, but just it is what it is, injuries and stuff. So they probably maybe realised that this game wouldn't be a success. And one of my sort of theories is that they didn't really put enough into the game, but they didn't really build a lot out with that kind of central core element where they got the game, I think, playing kind of decent. But the rest of it, they didn't flesh it out. They didn't really bother putting too much into it. And did they do that because they thought this game might not sell because Tiger Woods wasn't in it? I know a lot of people came on and says, "Oh, that's it." Even before the game was released, they basically said that they wouldn't buy a game if Tiger Woods wasn't in it, which I think is really quite, hiccups, childish in a way. You buy a game because you enjoy the game, not because of who's on it, which is one of the reasons why I think even Rory McIlroy was a bad call. I think they should just have went PGA Tour and not had anybody in the cover. Just went vanilla. Just go basic. Go back to your kind of roots. But a lot of people, there was a lot of backlash because Tiger Woods wasn't on the game, on the cover or in the game. I think he was actually in the game. I seen him in a tournament once, but and a lot of people said, "Well, I'm not buying the game because he's not in it." Blah, 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 blah. And fair enough, that's your opinion and stuff, but it got absolutely pounded at the start. The reviews of the game were just terrible, and I think those reviews were based on a lot of people just say, "Oh, we'll do a bad review. We'll probably get a lot of good feedback from it." But I don't think the game was as bad as what they said. I mean, the game was. I mean, you got to put your hand up and say the game was flawed. There was elements that weren't good about it, but I think the basic gameplay was. I mean, it was decent. I mean, it was okay. I mean, I quite enjoyed playing it at the start, and I still enjoy playing it to this day. If you kind of close your eyes on the tour mode, lack of calendars and all this kind of stuff, and customization and whatever. But did EA maybe realise that it wasn't worthwhile putting too much money in because they weren't going to recuperate a lot of money? If it sold X amount of copies, could we start pushing out DLC as soon as? But it just didn't happen. But the Tiger Woods thing was, I think did lend a big hand in the failure of this game. And there's a lot of other elements too why it failed. It didn't have the pro swing. To me, it was too easy playing in the analog swing back and forward. I mean, it's hard to make a mistake when it's like that. But PGA Tour 14 had a thing called the pro swing, where you swing across the axes, either a fade or a draw, and that just made the game so much more. You could tweak a shot a little bit. You could over draw it, or you could come across it and push it or pull it, and you could end up in some kind of tricky situations, which to me is golf. You're not going to play perfect all the time, and having like a pro swing just made that little sort of skill factor in it. which I thought was really, really good. You know, I thought that kind of made the game. That's one of the reasons why I play the 3 quick swing, because that kind of, there's a skill base in that where you've got to hit the top marker, or set the pivot and then hit that bottom marker. If you're just by it, you still hit a decent shot, but if you go beyond that, you start getting into trouble, and that's why I like playing the 3 quick swing. But that's really the kind of basis of EA Sports and its kind of failures. I mean, the game was selling for £3.49, which I think, I mean, if I didn't have that game and I bought that, I'd probably be quite happy. I mean, you've got all those downloads to bring the game up to spec. It's got X amount of courses, but it's never got enough courses compared to the golf club. But the golf club is a different golf game, I think. Especially in terms of like making your own course. That is, for me, that is just a win-win situation. You know, I could make courses up in a couple of minutes. You know, auto-gened courses are actually pretty decent. You know, the way it does it. So that's where the golf club kind of wins in that respect. But it really is it was a sad day last night. You know, they've got all these other games, Need for Speed, Madden, you know, NBA, FIFA. But PGA Tour is at the end. I really don't know. Now, getting on to the next thing I've got here. Will it come back in 2018? I don't know. For me, it'll be 2 years next month since the release of PGA Tour, or Rory McIlroy PGA Tour. I just have a drink. It'll be 2 years since that was released. And you'd really think that a team like EA Sports could go away, but the key thing here is that those games have to make money. Those games make money, they can develop the next game, so on and so forth. But as I say, it wasn't really our fault that the game failed. The game failed because it just wasn't. It wasn't a good effort from EA Sports. And if PGA Tour doesn't come back, and that's the kind of last game, I think it's a sad day for a franchise that's really built up from the kind of 1990s right up through, and has actually gotten better. Like most times, sometimes they go back a little bit, but there's always advancements made. But I think it's really sad if that is the case. But will it come back in 2018? Now, I don't think they'd really release it later in the year if they were making it. That is. Now they lost the Masters. I don't know why they lost the license to have the Masters in game. I've actually tried searching for it, but there's no real answer. It's just the fact they didn't get the license for it. Now, whether that was because they missed the deadline, or they fell out, or the Masters didn't want to be in the game, or the Masters didn't want to be in the game without Tiger Woods, or I don't know. I really don't know why the Masters wasn't in the game. That was probably another reason why it failed. The Masters not being in it, because they talked about, even EA Sports talked about having it as a downloadable course. So that was another reason it failed, and that kind of brings me into like a 2018 release could still, if this is the last game, then that's it, you know, end of an era. But there is a little glimmer of light for 2018, and it's a long shot, but if they could develop a game. Now, the last update for this PGA Tour game was, I think, May 2016, so it's over a year now since it's been updated. So in that year, say it does get released in 2018, that would give them 2 years to really develop a game. And I mean, like, really going for it, you know, having like a story mode like the journey in FIFA. You know, PGA Tour, I think it'd be great to have that kind of style of gameplay in it, and have a tour mode that's just in depth. It's done right. It's got a calendar, customization. There's different paths you can go in terms of getting equipment. I would really like to see a game where you start off kind of basic, maybe even like college golf. You really do start at like ground zero. Start really at the basics and then build your career. If people don't want to have it in depth, you can start PGA Tour straight away. But give the option for people that really like the in depth scenario, and then you maybe meet people on the way, and that guy might be a club maker. Maybe go down that route and maybe have like kind of proper golf club manufacturers on board, but also have like maybe kind of made up stuff so that you can maybe go down different routes. And then you basically get that contract, and then you get a set of clubs. You don't have to get you get the irons, and then you go to level up to get the 3-wood, and then you go to level up to get the driver. So you don't really have get the full set of clubs there, and then say there's maybe another set of clubs. There's maybe 5 or 6 different ranges of clubs. You can actually maybe pick what one you want. So maybe you want to go for like a blade club, or you want to go for a cavity back set of irons, or you want to, you maybe want there's another set that you want to get that you can maybe unlock and go down these paths. And the fact that you win maybe tours or finish high, you get some form of like a point system that allows you to get the better equipment. So you start off kind of basic, but then if you start proving that you're a good player and you start winning tournaments, then you start getting better clubs in that range. But then you also might have another manufacturer coming to you and saying, we would like you to play our equipment, and you maybe take that up, or you maybe say, well, not at this moment, but just keep me informed. So you've actually got a storyline going through, which I think would be fantastic in tour mode. And there's a lot of other things that you can do. Just having like a kind of bit like the journey where you have like press conferences and stuff, and what you say and what you do can really change your outlook or your path that you take to the PGA Tour. And then you go through like college, and then you maybe go through the amateur circuit, and then you go into like the web.com, but it's more in depth. It's not like a couple of tournaments to prove yourself, then you're in the PGA Tour. And then getting to the PGA Tour would be the kind of ultimate for you. That would be your kind of climax of your career, but technically also be the start of your career, and then you go from there. And that's what you could have in the game. But I really don't know if they got the Masters franchise back, and they released the game like the end of March, just before the Masters. It could make a comeback, but I think they would have to put in so much work to get all those elements worked, and have a game that launches with quite a lot of courses. I mean, the thing is, if say they released it and they had, I don't know, just say 20 courses or 25 courses in game, so you've got a decent amount to start with. And then say maybe a couple months down the line, they've got the first DLC pack and it's got like another 10 courses. I mean, it's all about kind of variety in golf games, and that's where the golf club, I think, always has that massive edge on PGA Tour, because golf courses it's not a problem with the golf club. The golf club's got, I mean, it's just got a lot of golf courses, and there's actually a lot of courses are in the game, like Pebble Beach and Merion. I think St Andrews is even in the game, but it's got a lot of real courses made up, and the number of courses that are not real it's just phenomenal. Just a huge amount of courses. But PGA Tour probably really works on the basis that the courses that they've got, and well, let's be honest, they're pretty nice looking, they're pretty good. But the thing is, I'd probably buy DLC. In fact, when Rory McIlroy came out, I actually sort of pledged in my head that I would buy all the DLC when it comes out, as long as it's reasonably priced and not overpriced. But you know, that's it. But well, I really don't know if it'll make a comeback next year. I'm saying next year because that's really when it should come back. Would be just before the Masters, with the Masters courses in it, and all the rest of the major courses for that year. But I really don't know. As I say, for me, it's a sad day. PGA Tour gets like this because it's. I mean, there's a lot of people play golf. There's a lot of people enjoy playing golf in a computer game, and it's sad. It's not sad that we've got the Golf Club 2 coming out later this month. In fact, I think it's out. I think it's the 30th that it gets released. I think it's the 27th in the States. Which is another annoying thing. Why should the States get first release and we have to wait a couple of days? I just think that's wrong. I think a game should be worldwide release all over, full stop. But PGA Tour, you know, it's sad. I mean, I'm actually probably going to record the PGA Tour. I'm playing the third round of the California Classic. But there's another thing as well that this game didn't have. I said the Pro Swing, it doesn't have an AI difficulty level. I find sometimes that the AI just starts off good and then just fails after that. They don't really hit good rounds, and then you end up maybe playing steady and winning a course or winning a tournament by quite a number of strokes. So that's another thing that they didn't have in this game. With PGA Tour 14, you could sort of manoeuvre the difficulty level, which just meant that tournaments were a little bit tighter. You know, you had to play a bit better to win. I mean, on this game, I think I've actually written it down somewhere. I probably need to find it in my book. But I've actually written down all the tournaments I've won this year. Wait till we see. It'll be here somewhere. Bear with me. Oh, here we go. So, this is the list of tournaments I've played in Season 5 so far. BioWare Classic, 1, 18 under par. Career Builder Championship, 1, 13 under par. Phoenix Open, 1, 19 under par. Arnold Palmer Invitational, 68th, 14, plus 4. I put it as a bad tournament. Alberta Classic, Banff Springs, 1, 26 under par. International Challenge at Troon, 1, 22 under par. EA Sports Spring Invitational, finished 7th, 4 under par. Played not great there. Boston Championship, 1, 16 under par. Wells Fargo Championship, 42nd, 1 under par. The Players Championship, 1, 16 under par. Peach Invitational, 39th, 1 under. US Open Championship, 1st, 3 under par. Mid-Season Classic, 1st, 9 under par. Arizona Summer Classic, 15th, 6 under par. And the Open Championship, 1st, 13 under par. In the Open Championship, I've won it every year, so I've won 5 Open Championships. So I'm undefeated at St Andrews, because St Andrews is a little bit of an easier course, which is another thing that they should have fixed. Should have made it more challenging. So I've basically won this year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tournaments, and we've played 1, 2. Well, this will be the 16th. So basically, I've won 15 out of 10, 10 out of 15 tournaments, which I just think is too much. The difficulty level is just not there in the game. For me, it is too easy to win a game, and that's playing it on the kind of hardest setting. So I don't know. I'll keep plugging on with PGA Tour 15 and also PGA Tour 14. I'm probably going to do a video for that in the next couple of days. I want to get this one done and finished. Get it out of the way and then do a PGA Tour 14. Would I ever walk away from PGA Tour 15? I don't know. Maybe at some point I might just say, I've had enough. I just can't do it anymore. I want to concentrate on the golf club and stuff. But would I not buy another FIFA game? Not FIFA, but another EA Sports game? I actually feel like doing that, to be honest. I actually feel like saying to EA, you know what, I'm not buying any more of your games because I just can't be bothered with your crap. You've basically left us out to kind of hang and dry, basically. Hung out to dry. It really is a sad day. We're kind of at a point now where it's just, I don't think it's going to happen. Just writing down the California Classic. But yeah, I mean, so that's a video. I kind of made it because I just wanted to get all this stuff into one video and, thoughts and ideas put into one basket, and, potentially, I don't know if it is the end. Certainly looks like it could be the end of the PGA Tour series. So anyway, guys, I've probably talked long enough. That's 31 minutes so far. I actually wanted to keep this video concise, but it's quite difficult to keep it concise. Well, thanks. I was going to say thanks for watching. There wasn't really much to watch. It was more like thanks for kind of listening. And well, it's not going to stop me making videos in PGA Tour 15. I still will, but it's just annoying that EA Sports are concentrating on other more predominant and money making franchises. So, well, guys, that's it. Catch you later. Bye.